Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right in. Today we're taking a center outward journey through our very own cosmic neighborhood, the solar system. Here's a quick look at our flight itinerary today. We'll kick things off at the heart of the system, cruise past the rocky inner planets, cross over to the giant outer planets, explore the fringes with dwarves and space debris, and finally, test your cosmic knowledge.
All right, Section 1, the heart of the system. And I mean literally, the gravitational core of everything.
Now, take a look at this. It's kind of mind-blowing. The Sun is the absolute undisputed boss of our solar system. It makes up a staggering 99.8% of the entire system's mass. Think about that. Every single planet, moon, and asteroid combined, the whole shebang, is crammed into that tiny little 0.2% sliver. It's a giant ball of hot plasma that completely dominates our cosmic neighborhood, serving as the massive engine that gives us all the light and heat we rely on.
Moving right along to Section 2, the rocky inner planets, let's meet our immediate neighbors.
So, our inner neighborhood is basically 4 rocky terrestrial worlds, and they are incredibly different from one another. Closest to the Sun, you've got Mercury, a world defined by just wild, extreme temperature swings. But actually, Venus takes the crown for the absolute hottest planet, mostly because it's trapped under this ridiculously thick, toxic atmosphere. Then, of course, there's our home, Earth, uniquely positioned to support life. And rounding it out is Mars, the famous red planet, which holds some pretty exciting potential for past water.
Okay, wait, check this out. This fact completely messes with how we think about time. A single day on Venus is actually longer than an entire Venusian year. Seriously, it takes the planet longer to complete one rotation on its own axis than it does to do a full lap around the Sun. How wild is that?
All right, before we venture any further, let's just do a quick comparison. We've got this tight, dense, rocky neighborhood close to the Sun, right? But as we cross the threshold into the outer system, the whole environment changes drastically. The scale just explodes. We leave the rocks behind and run into colossal gas and ice giants sitting way out in the cold, dark depths of space.
Which brings us to Section 3, the giant outer planets. Welcome to the deep freeze.
Out here, we find our 4 giants. Jupiter is the heavyweight champion, totally dominating with its sheer size and that raging great red spot. Then we've got Saturn, framed by those absolutely spectacular rings. Further out is Uranus, which, funnily enough, rolls along on a completely unique sideways tilt. And finally, freezing cold Neptune, which whips up the absolute fastest winds in our cosmic neighborhood.
Speaking of scale, here's a fun fact to really wrap your head around Jupiter. It is so ridiculously massive that you could take every single other planet in the solar system, squish them together, and they would all comfortably fit inside it. No problem. It's incredibly humbling when you realize just how tiny our rocky Earth is by comparison.
And you know we can't talk about these giants without giving a shout out to Saturn. Those iconic sweeping rings? They aren't solid, static hula hoops. They're actually a beautiful, chaotic dance of countless pieces of ice and rock orbiting the massive planet.
2,100. That's 2,100 kilometers per hour. That is the speed of the terrifying winds on Neptune. To put that wildly violent and dynamic atmosphere into perspective for you, that is literally faster than a fighter jet tearing through the sky.
All right, leaving the mighty giants in our rearview mirror, let's hit Section 4, dwarfs and space debris.
Because, look, the solar system isn't just the main planets. It is absolutely packed with fascinating smaller bodies. Way out in the Kuiper Belt, you've got dwarf planets like Pluto, Eris, and Ceres. Closer in, we've got rocky objects hanging out in the asteroid belt. Then there are comets, these icy bodies that form gorgeous glowing tails whenever they graze the heat of the Sun. And lastly, meteoroids, just small rocks drifting in space. When they hit Earth's atmosphere and burn up, well, that's when we get to see those spectacular shooting stars.
Okay, let's wrap this up with Section 5. Test your cosmic knowledge. Let's see if you were paying close attention on the tour. Question number 1. Which planet is famously known as the Red Planet? Go ahead and lock in your guess.
It's Mars, our dusty, rocky neighbor with a watery past.
All right, question 2. What defining feature makes Saturn stand out so much?
The rings, of course. Massive bands of ice and rock.
Question 3. True or false? The Sun makes up more than 99% of our solar system's mass.
It is very true. 99.8% to be exact, proving the sheer dominance of our local star. And the final question. Which giant boasts the massive Great Red Spot Storm?
Jupiter, the gas giant large enough to literally swallow the rest of our neighborhood. Awesome job if you got those right.
As we close out this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. By learning about the solar system, we understand not only our place in the universe, but also how planets and stars interact. The more we explore, the more mysteries we uncover. I mean, it's pretty profound when you step back and think about it. Understanding our cosmic neighborhood gives us the context for our very existence. So having taken this tour today, what cosmic mysteries are you hoping we uncover next? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, keep looking up.